Hey, what's going on? We're over here in the Dead Space corner, which, looking around the room, appears to be the most popular corner in the room. I'm joined by producer extraordinaire Rich Briggs. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Brad. Thank you.
Very cool, very cool. So you guys have a cavalcade of Dead Space products here today. You got Dead Space 2, obviously, the kind of the big one, but you also got Dead Space Ignition, which is like your downloadable prelude to the story of Dead Space 2. Set that up for us real quick.
What we wanted to do is take the motion comic idea that we had with the original Dead Space to the next level. So Dead Space Ignition is a downloadable game on Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network, and it basically acts as a prologue to Dead Space 2 because it tells the story of that initial necromorph outbreak on the Sprawl. And as you progress through the game, you're going to be performing one of 3 different types of hacks to progress the story and choose your own adventure as you try and survive, so that you're making your way through the game and learning how the events on the Sprawl transpire to get to where Dead Space 2 ends up.
Cool. One of my big questions about Dead Space 2 is what the hell Isaac is doing there. Are we going to find out about that? Or are we going to see him in this thing?
We're not talking about Isaac Clarke just yet in Dead Space Ignition, but I think that anyone who wants to understand how things went down before Dead Space 2 begins will definitely want to check out Ignition.
Okay. I have to be honest, when I heard the concept of the game, I heard, mini games. I was a little skeptical, but I played, I think it's Traceroute is the one I played of the 3. Pretty challenging, actually, like pretty arcade-style challenge. The other 2 look pretty interesting, too. Are they going to ramp up as you go? Is it going to be just like hellishly hard by the end? Is it going to be like Geometry Wars style or what?
They will definitely ramp up. I don't know if we're going to go hellishly hard. We do want to maintain that little bit of accessibility, but I'm glad you picked up on the fact that we want this arcade-style experience. We want some bite-sized chunks. We've got the puzzler, we've got the strategic, tower offense game, and then we've got the Twitch gameplay with Traceroute. And so there's 3 different types of gameplay. They'll all fit very well into, after you get each comic segment, you'll have a different type of hack. So they fit well into the experience. They'll constantly make you change up the way that you're playing the game.
You guys have been touting 4 different endings in this as one of the big features. Since this kind of feeds directly into the next big sequel, which one of those endings is the right one? Like, how do you decide, like, okay, that's the one that actually, plays into this? How does that work?
That's an excellent question, and I can't tell you how we do that, but trust me, we have thought of that. There will not be any loose ends hanging out from Dead Space Ignition. You will have 4 different endings, but you will still understand completely what happens when you get to Dead Space 2.
With those endings, you've got unlocks for Dead Space 2. Are they all suits? I know you said at least one of them is like a suit for Isaac. Is that the case for all of them?
That's not the case for all of them. The main one is an exclusive new suit for Isaac Clarke. The other ones we're not talking about just yet, but they are all elements that will help Isaac Clarke in Dead Space 2. So to us, we look at it as a way of not only are you learning about what happened on the Sprawl before Dead Space 2 starts, you're also giving Isaac Clarke just a little bit of an edge, which I guarantee you he's going to need when Dead Space 2 comes around.
Okay. Are you going to easily be able to go back and replay and get all 4 of those things if you want to put in the time? Or?
Absolutely. You're going to keep your rig upgrades that you get over the course of a first playthrough, so that when you go through the second time, the third, or the fourth time, you'll be able to, be a lot more proficient in terms of the hacks and how many power-ups you've been able to acquire.
You guys have kind of pulled a Mass Effect with Dead Space 2, pushed it out to January of next year. What's the time frame for Ignition in terms of, how early before that do you need to get out to make sure that enough people have played the game, and also what kind of price are we looking at?
We haven't announced anything on the price point just yet, but we do have a plan that we are going to talk about in the near future, and we guarantee people are going to be very excited about it. And it'll be available in fall 2010, so you'll have a couple of months before Dead Space 2 ships to really get through, figure out all the different elements, see all the different endings, and get Isaac powered up.
I don't want to give Dead Space 2 short shrift here. What are you guys showing here at the Summer Showcase?
So what we have here today is hands-on time for the first time with our E3 demo. So this takes place in a relatively early section of the game where Isaac has visited the Church of Unitology, and he's making his way through to what he thinks is salvation. So I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but let's just say there's a couple different moments that are going to challenge you with respect to both Zero-G and his new controls, with respect to some puzzles, and with respect to a boss fight.
Are there any new kind of major mechanics that you guys are overhauling or adding for this one that we haven't seen yet? Or, whatever you can tell us, I'm sure there's plenty you can't. But
well, what we tried to do with Dead Space 2 is make all of the abilities that Isaac had in the original Dead Space feel a lot more combat ready, so to speak. He's not turning into a super soldier, but he's been there before, so he kind of knows how to modify his rig, his suit, to make him a better, better force in battle. So, for example, his stasis will now recharge over time, gradually, so you can't abuse it, but you can use it as a combat application a lot more. You don't have to feel like you have to hoard stasis, which a lot of players did. Telekinesis now can rip the blades off enemies, use them to impale another enemy to the wall. So when you're low on ammo, that's a great way to make use of the new impalement feature. And then zero gravity has been completely overhauled. That's probably one of the biggest changes that we have, because as opposed to just a point-to-point jump like we had in the first Dead Space, now Isaac can hover, he can boost around in place, has just full 360-degree freedom of movement, which really changes up how you explore the different zero-G spaces, how you fight in them, and how you solve puzzles in them.
Where are you guys at with it right now in terms of getting all the content in, getting it polished?
We're still pre-alpha, so we're really excited by the state of the software right now, but we're getting close to the point where we're going to start to really just polish the hell out of it. So we're going along well.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you guys get back to it. Thanks for your time, Rich.
Thanks, Brad.